I get a lot of people asking me how we were blessed to walk away from corporate America in our early 30s. Well, listen, I don't want to keep that a secret. I want to share it with the world. And so maybe you're listening to this podcast and you're trying to figure out, how do I even get started on my journey of entrepreneurship and getting to a level of freedom? Well, text the word freedom to 737 777 9909. Enter your information in, and we look forward to sharing some information with you. A proven system with small overhead, right? That you can do part-time, spare time, right from the comfort of your home, and have amazing mentors, coaches, and a community of entrepreneurs who are willing to support you and help you on your journey to freedom. Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt like there's got to be more than life than the reality that you see every day? Tune in weekly, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays as we crack the codes to freedom in every area of your life. Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales, and this is episode 91. And today we're going to talk about dividends. And so we talk a lot on this podcast about, obviously freedom, and we talk about passive income being greater than your expenses. One thing I do want you all to know is that retirement is not an age. Retirement is really a mathematical equation, right? It's figuring out how much passive income you have that will pay all your bills without you having to physically work for it, if that makes sense, or work very little for it. And so today I thought I'd give you a quick little formula because, I know sometimes maybe I'm talking in general terms. Today I want to be very, very, very specific, right? Like extremely specific on something you can do to start working on your passive income, to start working on, building yourself to financial freedom, right? And so, okay, so one of those things there's lots of different sectors you can build passive income in. You can build passive income with real estate. You can build passive income through businesses. You can build passive income through stocks. You can build passive income through other channels, right? But today we're going to talk about stocks, right? Because um, it's a simple way to build wealth. Okay, and so there's this one stock called it's APTS. That's the sticker symbol, the ticker symbol, right? And the name of that stock is Preferred Apartment Communities. So this is a stock that invests in apartment communities, and they pay you a dividend when you own a share of that stock. So right now the stock is at $11.76 a share as of to date that I'm taping this, right? Um, and it pays about 70 cents per share annually. So it's like 17 cents a quarter. So, every 3 months, they pay 17 cents for every share that you own, right? So let's just say that I'm hypothetically speaking, I don't know how much your phone bill is, but let's just say that you had a phone bill that was $50 a month. Well, you multiply that times 12, that's $600 a year that you pay for your cell phone bill. If you owned 858 shares of APTS, that would basically cover your cell phone bill every single year, right? So it would cost you roughly about $10,000, right, to buy those 858 shares because it's $11.65 a share. But you invest that $10,000, whether you do it over time and you just buy a bunch of shares over time and it adds up to 858 shares, or you do it all in one lump sum, right? But if you were to spend $10,000, right? Not on a car, not on, you know, a lot of other things, but $10,000 on 858 shares of this stock, it would pay you a $50 bill if that was your cell phone bill. It would pay that every single year or every single month like clockwork, right? And you wouldn't have to keep reinvesting that $10,000 because you own those 858 shares. it's going to continue to pay those dividends. And sometimes, well, not even sometimes, most times, if you invested in a good company, they increase their dividends. So you have the potential to even have it paying more, right? More than that, more than your cell phone bill. So that's just a quick example of how you can invest in stocks. So here's the deal. You didn't have to do anything. You just put the money up, invested in a certain thing, and that thing was going to spit off cash flow regardless, no matter what you do, right? No matter how good you are, no matter how good you look, right? No matter how hard you work, no matter how less you work, when you put that money into that stock, it's going to pay those dividends like clockwork every 3 months. I get tons and tons of dividends payments on a regular basis, right? And I'm just focused on building that portfolio, right? So that it could pay lots of bills. Right? I got a friend of mine, and he was sharing this same stock, and he actually invested in it when it went down to $5 a share when the pandemic happened. Right? He bought a whole bunch of shares and so he was able to earn a $4,000 dividend check recently, right? So from this very stock that I'm talking about. And so imagine that having 4,000. Now, obviously, he bought lots and lots and lots of shares. I mean, let's just do some math. Um, on average, if he bought it, let's just say he bought it at $5 a share, um, to earn a dividend payment of $4,000. Let's see here. He would have had to have bought 5,000 shares, right? 5,017, I'm sorry, 5,714 shares at that time. And that would continue to pay him. So that's going to continue to pay him. And the cool thing is, he earned income because it's now up to $11, right? So he earned income on that stock increasing, but he also is going to continue to get a passive income on that dividend that each of those stocks pay out. And so that's just something to pay attention to, is to know and look at when stocks are down and to buy more of them. And here's the deal. You don't have to buy all these shares at once. You can just buy as you can. Like, hey, you get an extra bonus or you work overtime. Hey, put some of that on some shares of a stock that will pay you dividends, right? And then let it add up, let it pile up, and guess what? Over time, those dividends can pay your bills, and you could be in a position where you have passive income greater than your expenses. And guess what? That is a code. That is a major code of freedom. You are now in a position where you are in a position to be financially free because you were having the right mindset and you took action on that mindset and you executed. Does that make sense? So again, I told you I was going to be very specific. That is as specific as I can get it, and we can do that with a bunch of stocks. You could do that with AT&T. You could do it with Apple. You could do it with lots of different stocks. And hey, listen, the stocks that I just mentioned, 70 cent a share, that's actually kind of somewhat on the lower end. But of course the share price, I mean the stock price is lower too, right? So like you could invest in something like an AT&T, which is like I don't know. Let me pull it up. I think AT&T right now is $25 a share. And hey, I'm not advocating for AT&T, but listen, we get money, we buy income, right? And so yeah, AT&T is $28 a share right now, but its dividend yield is 7%. How cool is that? So, I mean, hey, let's just say you invested in a bunch of AT&T shares. You may not even own AT&T, but 7% is pretty good, right? 7%, it's a 7% yield is what I mean, right? So, like, just to give you like dollars and cents or in a comparison, the stock that I mentioned, APTS, theirs is 5.9%, right? So I don't know what AT&T pays a year. I can look that up. But just know that you can look at different companies and you can invest in those companies. You can diversify too. You can have a bunch of different stocks that pay dividends and it all adds up. But my point is, why not concentrate it into a few stocks That way it can add up pretty big, and you get a lump sum every time they pay their quarterly dividends. And some dividend stocks, they pay theirs monthly, right? But most of them, they pay them quarterly. So they earn in profit, and that's why you also want to just make sure it's a good company. You don't want to just look for companies that have high dividend yields, because it's possible, if it's not a strong, solid company, that it could be paying a high dividend yield now, but eventually it's going to have to cut that, because if the company's not doing well, it can't afford to pay those dividends long term. So you want a company that you know is going to be around a long time. One of the reasons why I said APTS is because, look, you can't go wrong with apartment complexes. I mean, people are always going to have to rent, right? Just like people will always have a cell phone bill. So think of those type of companies that are long term. And by the way, this is a huge bulk of Warren Buffett's money. It's through dividends, right? He gets dividend payments. So he's already invested in companies that pay dividends. And every quarter, he gets all this money from companies he's already invested in. And guess what? He doesn't have to do a thing, because he's already invested. So to me, this is one of those things that's a no-brainer. Like, we all should be investing in dividend companies. But the thing is, we just weren't taught this type of thing. And that's why I'm so thankful that you all are listening to this podcast, because you get to learn these type of strategies and principles that can help you to earn these yields, earn these dividends, and be financially free. So I hope you guys enjoy episode 91. I can't wait to see you at 92. Take care, take charge, and we'll see you all over the top. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for listening. Definitely feel free to take a screenshot of this episode, tag me in it on Instagram or Facebook, or wherever you find me on social media. I would love to give you a shout out. Hey, you might even get a prize, who knows? But excited that you had a chance to take a listen. I hope you got a lot of value, and definitely feel free to give us 5 stars as well as a review. Show us some love, and we appreciate you. God bless you all, and see you all over the top.